morning, everyone. Welcome to Cheddar. We got an action-packed show. I'm Kristen Scholler. John Steinberg is back.
And Geoffrey Colon, pronounced like the city of Germany, communications designer for Microsoft, super Ched head friend. Thrilled to have him riding in the, I don't know, Peter, is it the, we're in driverless cars, so I guess we're all in the passenger seat now.
That's right.
I am wearing a tie because I am speaking at the New York Stock Exchange's IR Summit today. And I figured, you know what? They said business attire. For once, I'm just going to listen. I am so happy to be back. Peter, it is good to see you and your beard.
Good to see you. It's gross. I think
Getting
I need
long.
to
Kristen, good to see you.
Good to see you too, John.
Geoffrey, nice to be welcomed back by you. A lot to talk about.
Yes.
I was flying back from California last night, or yesterday afternoon, and a guy comes up to me in the Delta Sky Lounge. Delta's not an advertiser, but I am a Delta flyer, platinum, whatever the level is, you know. And so they should be a sponsor. And a guy says to me, "Hey, you're that guy." And I was like, "Oh, he's going to say like CNBC," which, like, you know. But instead he goes, "You're on Cheddar, aren't you?" And it was like the best. It was like
So cool.
I had a double scotch after that.
That's amazing. I know a lot of people are watching. Very good. All right. Well, we got a lot of news to get through, a lot of guests too. So, Jeff, I think we're going to get to something with Microsoft later on, but hopefully you can help us with some input on the news beforehand.
Sure.
All right.
What brings you to New York? Why are you in New York?
So I'm here for the Bing Agency Awards. It's our first awards show for our search engine. So that brings me to New York. A lot of different things bring me to New York. I'll be back in a couple weeks for advertising week.
Okay.
So I come back home. This is my home. I think of it as my home, even though I live in Seattle.
Yes.
And I love being here. I love the energy here. I love the people here.
You're from New Jersey, right?
I'm originally from Pennsylvania, but I'm a true New Yorker. I lived here for 20 years.
Wow.
So what's the New Jersey thing?
I lived a little bit in Maplewood, New Jersey before I departed for the West Coast.
We have an over-index for New Jersey people involved in the company and in terms of guests.
That have lived in New Jersey at some point, probably over 50% maybe.
I think that's
There's
right.
a lot, yeah.
All right, let's get to some news. Kristen, go right ahead.
Okay, so what's next for Apple? You may wonder. Well, it appears Apple CEO Tim Cook favors augmented reality over virtual reality. In an interview with ABC News, Cook argued that AR, augmented reality, would be more commercially viable as it allows users to be more present in their environment. Cook added that, quote, virtual reality sort of closes and immerses the person into an experience that can be really cool, but probably has a lower commercial interest over time, end quote. In more Apple news, initial iPhone 7 quantities are reportedly sold out. Krisha's going to have more on that later. We're going to have Stephen Kovac of BI on, too, to talk about
Geoffrey,
that.
Microsoft is big into augmented reality with the HoloLens. In your new book, Disruptive Marketing, I could be I read a lot of books. I think there is some discussion of augmented reality in the book.
Absolutely.
Okay, all
Absolutely.
right. Give us your take, give us Microsoft's take. Why is augmented reality going to be better, and tell people what it is. Is that going to be better than virtual reality?
Yeah, I mean, the difference, augmented reality is mixed reality in the respect that you see what's in front of you, but you can also see things that are programmed. I think it's going to change computing as we know it. We may no longer necessarily rely on, you know, a device that you have in front of you or even your phone if you have a wearable and you can see the world around you a little bit differently. I think that's where the promise of HoloLens, you know, is.
Yes.
And I think that's, it is the next wave of computing, if we want to look at it in that respect.
And I think augmented reality really almost had its breakout moment. Some could say with the Pokemon Go game, that was the first time a lot of consumers and users had really experienced it firsthand. We've all probably seen and tried on some of the VR headsets and tried that as well. But it is interesting that Apple's saying it's augmented reality. We know that Facebook really has made a push for VR, but I think many of the tech companies too, AR and VR are certainly topics that they can't ignore as they become more popular computing platforms and ways.
Yeah.
Programming note, for those of you tuning in, Chachi Gonzalez, YouTube star, will be on shortly. Guys, when we do those little side panels, we should show a coming up to tell people what's coming on. Liam, if I want to talk about these kiosks now, can we do that? Okay, all right, so in New York City, they've ripped out all the phone booths, and they've put in these amazing high-speed internet things called Link NYC. But like everything this city does with technology, they completely mess it up. They can't run a subway system. They can't put wireless functions in the subways. Honestly, the city should call upon me, and I would be on a committee to fix all of this, okay? They put these kiosks in, and people start looking at pornography on them, as reported by the New York Times, and apparently doing drugs and drinking while using the kiosks, right? And in the article, I think it makes a relatively pejorative reference. I think that's the right word. It's pejorative, like makes a nasty reference about homeless people using the kiosks and looking at pornography. First of all, I think it's awesome that the homeless people have access to the internet, to look up jobs, to research news, to do these different kinds of things. The problem, so now they're turning off all the web browsers on the kiosks, right?
Yep.
Just turn off the pornography. Like, why can New York City not get any vendor that can do anything competently? They have a terrible vendor for the wireless in the subway. Yep. They have now a terrible vendor here that can't install a porn blocker on a browser.
Yeah, it's very easy to turn off all of those sites as well. If you think about it, there are search engines in schools for kids. You're able to turn off all those, sites. It's the same thing here. I mean, the city should be able to do this. And I agree with you, John. Accessibility for all is very important.
Yes.
In terms of where we're going in the future.
I think that is key. I think the reason that some people were up in arms about this is because supposedly big crowds were gathering around, and it wasn't just one or two people, but big crowds, and it was becoming animated, I guess you could say, or there were a lot of people there for a long time looking at that. I actually have never seen any of this myself in New York City happening.
Either. I travel all over the city every day on our terrible subway system with our terrible internet access, and I've never seen these kiosks. I've never seen these kiosks overcrowded, so I don't even know what they're talking about. And the other thing is, here's the New York Stock Exchange. They have a very aggressive firewall, so like you can't overcorrect it. So you know what? If you've got to dial it so that like you can't get on porn, but you also maybe you can't get onto
Facebook
or entertainment sites.
Right.
Like let's make sure that they can access like a monster job board.
Yes.
CNN.com. I mean, how hard is that for them?
Yeah.
Yes. All right,
We have to get back. Who is the woman that's head of that New York technology?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get her. She's been on the job how many months now, Kristen?
I don't know.
4 months?
Several months?
I want her back here, and we're going to grill her. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to grill her. And we're going to
Sounds like a
volunteer.
plan.
We're going to offer vinegar, but sugar. We're all going to commit to help out. Okay.
I like that
Carrot
idea.
and stick.
I kind of like vinegar and honey.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's good. Okay. All right, European fans of video on-demand services, Netflix, Amazon, and others may finally be able to see content from across the continent. A new proposal announced on Wednesday aims to give Europe's 500 million digital content consumers greater access to different types of shows. Currently, companies like Netflix and Amazon must get licensing deals in individual countries, meaning that the content on Netflix in Poland is probably, or could be in some cases, different than the content that's in Portugal. So the idea here is to break down those borders between each nation and make the content more fluid across the entire EU. So now, this is one of our Fidelity-sponsored segments. The app is theirs, but the opinions and statements provided are ours. And during this Fidelity-sponsored segment, we will be using their mobile app as a means to demonstrate how to add a note from the watch list using Netflix and Amazon as an example.
All right, great. And I love that we're all set up and we're roaring along today. So what I want to show you here is, this is a watch list. I've actually just created a simple watch list today. I have indexes on here and I put Netflix on. Let's say, and from the watch list, I'm going to add a note. So you can see I scroll along right here, and you see I'm on the Netflix column. I click the add the note. Now my note here is, and this is my typing problem that's going to happen here because it's hard for me to type sideways. Follow up and study EU. I knew it was going to do that. All right, study EU ruling. Okay?
Good.
Save. Okay, now, okay, perfect. So now what that has done, do you see how my little blue thing there is highlighted next to Netflix?
Yes.
I now know that I have a note, okay? So that means that whenever I go back now and I want to look up the stock price or I see a move, I have a note to myself to go back and look up what the impact of this ruling is. So what is nice in the app here is you don't need to maintain a separate place to watch your stocks, to watch your movements, to watch your analyst ratings. You can basically keep track of your research associated with each of the stocks right in the app.
Super helpful, yes, that each note is catered right specifically to that stock, so you also don't have to, like you alluded to, log the note somewhere else.
And, you know, not to give Liam a hard time my first day back or anything like that, but I didn't think this was that significant of a story, okay? And you can see the stock is barely moving. It's down less than a percent on this, right? And to be honest, what we really should have done here is we should have done a watch list feature. And Liam, we should really just let the watch list basically determine. The alert. I want to set alert. Set an alert. Okay. So what I want to do here is let's do a 52-week high and low. Set alert, and then now, boom, it's done. See, got the little check mark. Done. Now we'll let the 52-week high and low alert. If it goes 52 weeks high, it goes 52 weeks low. We know that a news story is actually impactful, and that will be a trigger for us to do a little Fidelity segment on it. Good.
Super helpful, right in the Fidelity app. Okay. Now a story presented by Strayer. Spotify has reached another milestone. CEO and founder Daniel Ek tweeted, quote, 40 is the new 30 million, that is, end quote. A hint that the subscriber number had passed the 40 million mark. The news means that Spotify has grown by 10 million subscribers in the past 5 months alone. Comparatively, Apple Music users have only grown by 4 million to 17 million. So now less than half of the total subscriber base of Spotify.
I actually helped launch Spotify here in the U.S.
What?
On the agency side. Yeah. Disclaimer, they were a client of mine.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Disclaimer given. Now opinion.
I think it's a great service. I think it's going to be hard for others to catch up to it. They had, a much lead time. I also think, and I wrote about this in my book as well, the fact you can discover music through moods, that's the future. I mean, they're already setting the future. It's like, hey, I'm in the mood to listen to dreamy music. They'll serve that up to you. I'm in the mood to listen to hip hop. They'll serve that up to you. I mean, discovering music is wonderful on the app as well, because whatever I listen to, it creates an algorithm personally for me.
And it does seem like it's accelerating. It does seem like adding 10 million so quickly after hitting 30 million. Okay, I should say something. Throw me some hearts if you agree with Jeff. Throw some hearts in here if you think that these guys have reached escape velocity now, and it's going to be hard to do that. Peter, what I meant to do when we were doing the subway kiosk thing is I wanted to do hearts or faces if you disagree, but I forgot.
If you've ever looked up porn at a kiosk.
Right. Well, no, not right. But Lara, who is excellent, who's on the team, but her name is very hard to pronounce. So every time you say her name, you've got to say in your head Sarah and then say Lara. She has the noon show people really good with the throw the heart. Freddie's always throw the hearts, throw the.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Make it interactive. That's good. We like
Okay.
that. Okay. Now, Geoffrey Colon, the moment that we've been waiting for, you've been waiting for, maybe in this A block, the Bing Agency Awards tonight. Tell us about them.
So this is our first agency awards. We wanted to do it here in New York because it's the media capital of the world. It's at Gotham Hall. Colin Jost of Saturday Night Live is hosting, and BB Rexa is the musical special guest, and we have a teal carpet rather than a red carpet because teal is our colors at Bing.
Yes.
And this is just a way to, again, show that we're in the advertising business. I think a lot of people forget that what we do out in Redmond.
But what happened with the advertising business that you pushed to AOL?
Yeah, so that was the display side of our business, and last year we thought it was, in sort of the best interest to do a partnership with AOL and sort of moved that side of the business over to them. It's still a rev share deal that we have with them. We still work with them as a partner. So. And
then Bing, are you thinking that Bing will just be? I mean, obviously you don't think you're going to catch up with Google at this point, but is you're thinking that you will net it across the Xbox, the operating system, the HoloLens? Is it going to be a piece of is it almost going to be like a Siri for your ecosystem?
Yes, I think that's the immersive side of search is important for us. I think that's the way we are looking at it, but I think we also want to. I think new things in terms of search may change the game. Voice search is really catching up now. That might change the game in terms of giving us an advantage, not just on Cortana, but also on Siri, which when you talk to Siri, it serves up, Bing powers the search on Siri. So I think there's areas there that could change. Also, as we talked about, virtual or augmented reality may change search as we know it. So I think these are areas where maybe we don't catch up to Google, but you never say never in this world of technology.
It's funny you mentioned voice assistants. On today's Cheddar exclusive newsletter, we have a whole report about voice assistants and the increase in AI, and there's a chart that 44% of people who started using voice assistants have done it in the last year.
Yep.
So there's this massive acceleration happening in this space.
I mean, if you also think about it, Jeff Bezos of Amazon has said that that's a fourth pillar for them.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, with Alexa, this is a big
Tap.
area.
They reduced the price on
Big
Tap to $50 yesterday. Question for you. I was not invited to this party tonight.
Oh my goodness.
Why?
Uh-oh.
You're excellent at not being invited places.
We will take care of that. If you
Now
want
it's
to come,
too
John,
late. Now I got something else. But like, I mean, and I got to go to bed early because I was transporting this Toro last night, and I was up very late doing that. Anyway,
So you can't guilt the guy and then say, I don't want to go anyway.
no, but
Like, it doesn't work that way.
He actually likes me, and he didn't even invite me to the party. So I just want to point out it was like an oversight.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. Speaking of TAP, a TAP conference coming up.
No association between Tap and Tap.
Yep, we should make that delineation. Okay, well, Geoffrey, thank you for joining us.
thank you.
Oh wait, so we're going to. It's not a disclosure, Liam. It's an announcement. Okay, fine. We're proud to announce that Cheddar. God, when are we getting the camera in the control room, Peter? When is that coming?
TBD.
I love it. For all my viewers, we know when Peter's going to talk because
We're proud to announce that Cheddar is
Go.
the official media sponsor of the TAP conference, hosted by Button. Button is this very hot technology. It's just enabling Button on all these websites. All these really smart kids are involved in founding it. I can't remember half the team. Maybe one of our investors is an investor. I don't even know. The conference will be held in New York September 29th. It will bring together awesome leaders, mobile technology, media, e-commerce, a lot of e-commerce actually. We will be conducting on-camera interviews all day at the conference. So if you're attending, look for Cheddar. A lot of you TAP nerds probably watch this show. Let us know if you want to be interviewed.
Yes, perfect. All right, Geoffrey, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Guys, good seeing
Good
you.
seeing you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Enjoy the awards
Got it.
tonight.
Okay.
All
All right, so Allure rang the opening bell this morning, and they are going to be joining us shortly. But first, Krisha live at the NASDAQ to tell us more about the iPhone 7 being sold out. Krisha, take it away.
Good morning, John, Kristen. Glad you're back. So as of yesterday, initial quantities of the iPhone 7 Plus have already sold out globally, even before Apple plans to introduce them in stores. They're completely sold out in all shades of the phone, and the smaller iPhone 7 has also sold out in the new jet black color. Not to mention, if you decide to go to an Apple store, you won't be able to order them on site, just online. So you're basically out of luck. As we reported on before, Apple unveiled the new phones at an